The Fan, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Getting on a roll is an impossibility if you can't score runs, and that's the issue plaguing the Blue Jays right now. So the second of this four-game series with Tampa Bay is about to take place. Up to the booth we go then. Dan Shulman is with Joe Siddall.
Jamie, thank you. Yes, they have got to score some runs. They're also hoping for a big outing from Kevin Gausman, who has now been a Blue Jay, Joe, for better than 4.5 seasons. One of the best free agent signings this team has ever had.
Most starting pitchers will tell you they take a lot of pride in taking the ball every time it is their turn. And Kevin Gausman has done that for 5 straight seasons in a Blue Jays uniform. And when he takes that turn, he gives you innings. First in Major League Baseball in starts. This is regular and postseason since 22. When Kevin became a Blue Jay, he's logging the innings. Remember those first couple years, especially in a Toronto uniform, really racking up those strikeouts, and he really didn't turn into the Kevin Gausman that as we know him today till about his 7th or 8th year in the big leagues. This is a guy that developed throughout the course of his career into the guy that we see today, that fastball splitter pitcher, 2-pitch pitcher. Yes, he mixes in the slider, but this is a guy with 2 pitches. That's what's remarkable to me. 35 years old now with basically 2 pitches, and he's still doing it. Very reliable against big league hitters.
On some extra rest, of course, because of the All-Star break, as is the Rays starter tonight, who was an All-Star this year in Drew Rasmussen. Game 2 of 4 between the Rays and Jays is coming up.
Thank you, gentlemen. The roof is closed this evening as the Blue Jays and Rays are ready to go indoors. First pitch flies after this. Enjoy it here on Sportsnet.
Jays baseball on Sportsnet. Weather a little iffy here this evening. Big thunderstorms during the day and last night. A little better now, but the roof is closed. At the outset of this ball game, Drew Rasmussen for the Rays, Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays. Each of these 2 pitchers making his 3rd appearance against the other team this year. They each pitched in both of the series between these 2 teams back in May. Both of these teams are very familiar with what they are going to see from the opposing starter here tonight. The Blue Jays trying to bounce back from kind of a dispiriting 7-1 loss last night. They barely hit, and they committed 3 errors. It was just not their best effort on a number of fronts. Kevin Gausman will try to get them off to the right start here tonight. And a look at the lineup now that Kevin Gausman is going to face tonight. And of course, it's the big 3 at the top you really got to worry about. Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda, Junior Caminero. Look at the career numbers for Aranda against the Blue Jays. Caminero had a big night last night. 3 hits, 2 of them doubles. Cedric Mullins homered. Nick Fortes homered. More righties in there than you might expect. The Rays look at Gausman as a reverse splits guy, which he is, so they don't load up on lefties. They load up on righties against Gausman and maybe trying to neutralize that splitter just a bit.
And it is a good pitch for Kevin, making his 21st start of the season. That ERA up to 4.33 now. Allowed 3 runs over 6 innings in San Diego in that last start before the break, and it was the very last day before the All-Star break. That gave Kevin 8 days off before this start. It was a 3-run second inning, a couple of walks and a balk. Otherwise, he was pretty good. That's coming on the heels of a very difficult month of June, but he is trying to get things back on track here. And does his team ever need him tonight if the Blue Jays are going to make any move? We keep saying it, but it needs to start immediately.
Running out of days, less than 2 weeks until the trade deadline, and 5.5 games out of the 3rd and final wild card spot with a whole bunch of teams that they would have to pass. It's no longer about 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3. It's more like 7 out of 8, 8 out of 9 if they're going to make a statement and try to give the front office some motivation to add to the team as opposed to subtract from it. We'll get into that more over the course of the night. Brandon Valenzuela is getting the start behind the plate tonight. And here's Yandy Diaz playing in career game number 1,000 here tonight, as he takes a fastball in for a called strike to get this ball game underway. This guy has been a good player for a long time, a couple of weeks shy of his 35th birthday. He started off with Cleveland. That's in there over the inside corner with the knees. 0-2. The Rays, many years apart, got both Yandy Diaz and Junior Caminero from Cleveland. 0-2. Fastball, and it's popped up foul, back out of play. Kevin Gausman establishing old number 1 here in the early going.
And we saw that second pitch where he came inside. He will do that more to right-handed hitters now. Throw that four-seam fastball, but in keeping them honest, that'll help that slider when he does throw it, trying to run it away off the plate. Just like that.
Still ahead of him, 1-2. Chop foul. Well, there has been a late change for the Blue Jays. Jonathan Clase was listed in left field and batting 9th, and well, we didn't know there was a change until we saw Miles Straw run out on the field. So something must have happened involving Jonathan Clase mere minutes before the start of the game, as Diaz fouls another one off. So it is Straw in left, and I presume still batting 9th, which is where Clase was. If we get any word, we will pass it along. A splitter taken low, and this is the kind of professional at bat that Yandy Diaz gives you more often than not.
Anytime you see hitters lay off that, especially with 2 strikes, seeing it good or just simply very good approach, laying off the low pitch. And so Kevin tries the four-seamer down in the zone to keep him honest, just missed.
So 2 pitches in, it's 0-2. Now Diaz has forced him to throw 6 more and a 7th coming, and now it's a full count. This is chopped foul. The at-bat continues. And I think everybody would tell you the longer an at-bat like this goes, the more it swings in favor of the hitter. Diaz has already seen every pitch that Gausman has. Fouls another one back.
That one up to 95 again. He's trying to get it by him. Back inside with it.
And Joe, let's talk about the delivery for Gausman. Sure. Something we saw in San Diego in his last start before the All-Star break.
Yeah, he's pitching from the windup now. A little bit of a different posture here, but you'll see that left leg go back and initiate his windup. Something he has not done for quite a while.
Line drive, right center field, and a nice sliding catch by Dalton Varsho.
Cap tip of sorts from his pitcher, but Kevin Gausman, that's a nice way to start the ball game. Dalton Varsho comes up with this baseball, nobody on 1 out, as opposed to nobody out and a runner on second or third base.
How many times, with Varsho having been here 4 years, have we seen Gausman look out and extend that right arm to center field in appreciation of a Varsho play? So Diaz made Gausman throw 12 pitches, but Gausman ultimately gets him. And with 1 out, the batter now is Jonathan Aranda. Aranda lifts a fly ball to left. This is playable for Straw. Out number 2.
Defensively for the Blue Jays tonight, now we see that Miles Straw is a late addition into the Blue Jays lineup. He'll play left field in place of Clase. Varsho's in center. Lucas in right. Okamoto, Jimenez, Clement, and Guerrero around the infield. And Brandon Valenzuela takes the place of Alejandro Kirk here tonight behind the plate.
Two down and the base is empty, which is exactly what you want the situation to be when Junior Caminero comes up. Caminero with 29 home runs, 62 RBIs. He drove in a couple of runs last night. 3 for 4, a single, 2 doubles. You and I have watched a lot of rounds of BP in our respective lives. And what he did today, the batting practice session of Junior Caminero's, was something else. He was demolishing the ball all over the ballpark in BP.
And it was the manner in which they performed the batting practice. The pitcher screen was a lot of short toss from the left side, from the right side, creating angles, and I believe helping hitters to try to stay through the baseball and on the baseball a little bit longer. But tremendous power, because when a pitcher is just flipping the ball underhand from about 15-20 feet, you are supplying all of the power. And he was leaving the ball yard.
Sometimes they were rockets.
Yep.
Sometimes they were high fly balls that you would watch, and they just kept going and going and going. A slider in the dirt. It's full.
I talked to Gausman before that San Diego start, and it was about his delivery. And he admits he does not hold runners really well. So in an effort to try to get better, he was feeling like he was speeding up his delivery and tilting down the hill a little bit too much. So to slow things down, we just saw it for the first time in San Diego. This is when he started this windup to try to get back gathered again.
Right back to the slider, but he loses Caminero, a 2-out walk. Do you think him working, and he's not going to now obviously, but do you think him working from the windup and the uptick in velocity in that start are related?
Velocity can be an indicator too, or a result of it, because you're being more clean and efficient with your delivery. If you're flying down the hill a little bit too quickly and that arm trails, you're not working very efficiently. If you stay from the windup and stay over that pitching rubber, that arm can catch up.
Obviously from the stretch with a runner at first as he starts Cedric Mullins with a strike. Mullins went 1 for 5 last night, hit a home run off Dylan Cease, one of 3 home runs the Rays hit in the game. Got the fastball in on his hands, and it's fouled back, 0-2.
We heard Caleb talking up on Blue Jay Central about attacking Caminero with Jamie, and I think that 3-2 slider right there I'm fine with, and I think Gausman is fine with. If you get Caminero to chase it, great, but if not, he's on first and you take your chances. You don't want that guy to beat you, especially when we feel like these Blue Jays pitchers feel like they probably have to be pretty perfect right now.
The 0-2. Splitter down, ball 1. Heavy fastball usage for Gausman, and it's very early. But he threw a lot of them to Yandy Diaz. He's had good velocity on it in the early going. 16 of his 23 pitches have been fastballs so far. There's another one, and it's smoked over Guerrero and into the right field corner. Caminero is digging for third, and he'll be held on a line drive double by Mullins.
After the splitter, he came back with another fastball, and Mullins was all over it. Just over the glove of Vladdy and into right field.
So let's see what Gausman does now. Second and third, 2 outs. Does he go from the windup? Remember, he did not declare to each batter in San Diego. There was a balk, led to a run, and it looks like he is going from the stretch here tonight. Johnny DeLuca is the batter, pops it up. Valenzuela a look, but it's back in the seats. So interesting. Kevin is going from the windup with nobody on like he did in San Diego, but he's reverted back to the stretch in a situation like this. Runners at second and third.
Yeah, it is interesting, because you'd think the reason he went to that windup is because he feels like it's benefiting him. So you think he'd use it anytime that you can, but maybe that's that comfort zone you sink back to.
Off the end of the bat, down the right field line, and it's dropping in for a base hit. And the Rays have an early 2-0 lead.
Not sure how Johnny DeLuca got to this pitch, but he barely did. It's a fastball well off the plate away. Pretty safe spot. Cues it off the end of the bat, but you couldn't drop it in there any better. A little lob wedge into shallow right field. No chance for Lucas to get there. Look at Kevin's reaction.
And nothing Nathan Lucas can do.
No.
That's just baseball right there sometimes. And after getting the first 2 batters, the Rays have now scored 2 early runs off Gausman. And here's Chandler Simpson, who has had a lot of success in his 2 years in the big leagues against Gausman. He is 7 for 12 against him. 5 singles, 2 doubles. Okamoto in at third, as you have to be when Simpson is the batter. Runner goes. Valenzuela's throw down. Not in time. A stolen base for DeLuca, his 10th.
Well, Brandon got a good pitch to throw on, but he may have rushed it a bit. And when you rush the feet, the arm doesn't quite catch up, and that's what gets it airborne. You see how high that went right out of his hand. He has such a strong arm. When he's right, that thing is on a line, low to the ground.
The Rays run a lot. They are aggressive. They got a bunch of guys up and down the lineup who can steal a base. They want to keep the pressure on you, especially down lower in the order. Just off the outside corner, it's 2-1. And boy, Gausman, Joe, about to throw his 30th pitch here in the first inning. Give Mullins credit with the double. Give Yandy Diaz, even though he lined out, give him a lot of credit for seeing 12 pitches.
I always wonder what toll that takes when the leadoff batter does that. Whether it impacted Kevin or not, it certainly worked into the Rays' favor in this inning. Rays doing Rays things again.
A 2-2 count on Simpson. A look back at DeLuca. And the pitch. Up and away. And another full count. Gausman was locked in on the strike zone to the first 2 batters, but not as much lately. He walked Caminero. And a couple of deep counts since. Line foul. And this guy can work you. You see that strikeout rate. That is the lowest, or tied with Ernie Clement actually, for the lowest strikeout rate among qualified hitters in the American League. The 3-2 again, and it's a little looper into right center for a base hit, and another run is in to score.
Tough guy to get to swing and miss. Splitters at the bottom of the zone on the outside edge, but Simpson just chops at it. That's his game. Try to put it in play. A little toward the end of the bat and just lob wedged it into center field. This is the definition of a contact hitter, right? Just throwing the barrel at the baseball, trying to punch it into play and use his speed.
So now, if you can believe it, 8 for 13 in his career against Kevin Gausman, and a lot of the at-bats have been just like that. So Pete Walker out to the mound. Gausman has now thrown 33 pitches, and again, he got the first 2 guys tonight. And the Blue Jays in an early hole. Here's Ben Williamson, who gets the start at second base. Again, the Rays put more right-handed batters in there against Gausman. He typically has reverse splits. Righties hit him more than lefties. So even though a lot of teams will just automatically load up on lefties against a righty pitcher, the Rays don't play the game that way. Williamson, who's a natural third baseman and a very good one. You can't play third if you're in Tampa Bay because of Junior Caminero. So he'll spot Caminero every now and again, play some short, play some second, come off the bench. There you can see the numbers. Righties doing better against him than lefties. Up the middle, another base hit. Stopping at second on the play is Simpson as the inning goes on.
Fastball right out over just 92 miles per hour, and Williamson getting to that easily, hitting it hard right back through the box.
And with this inning still going and Gausman at 35 pitches, Lazaro Estrada is now getting up in the bullpen. After the first two were retired, a walk and then 4 consecutive hits. 2 of them soft hits, but hits nonetheless. And a splitter in for a strike. 0-1 on Taylor Walls, the shortstop, who had a good night last night. He went 2 for 3, including a triple. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Saw him tee off on a fastball from Dylan Cease in his first at bat last night. I think Kevin was watching. He's not seen a fastball, I don't think, this time.
Got it. So Gausman will ring him up to end the top of the first, but not before the Rays score 3 times. They have scored only 2 runs in their last 3 games, and as of the culmination of last night, they are the lowest scoring team, 30th in the majors in runs per game this season, and they're facing a guy who's pretty good, Joe, and Drew Rasmussen.
Drew Rasmussen is in his 7th season. He started with Milwaukee, now his 6th year in Tampa, and he has been very good for a long time despite some health issues along the way. This guy just does not allow many base runners, doesn't give up many hits, doesn't walk many. You have to earn your way on against Rasmussen.
Nathan Lucas will try to grind out an at-bat against him. Lucas is 4 for 8 in his last 2 games. 3 of those 4 infield hits. So not necessarily hitting it hard all over the ballpark, but putting it in play, getting on base. 0-2 here. Rasmussen, a guy who has had 3 elbow surgeries, 2 of them full Tommy John, and still has overcome that to become one of the better starting pitchers in the major leagues over the last 5-6 years. Maybe not a big name, plays in Tampa Bay, not a household name, but he's got a career ERA of 2.96.
He had a mid-2 ERA in June. He was a pitcher of the month in June. A couple tough ones in July that's got him in trouble.
Lucas up the middle. Walls gets to it, but no chance to make a play. And yet another infield hit for Nathan Lucas.
Nathan had an infield hit and a bunt last night. This one finds a hole up the middle, and I'm not sure what Williamson was doing and where he was throwing this ball. No play at all whatsoever at first base. Oh, it's Walls.
Immediately regretted it, and probably hearing about it from his teammates, but no damage done. Here's Guerrero. 0 for 4 last night, 0 for 8 over his last couple of games. He has seen a lot of Drew Rasmussen. In fact, the 2 hitters Rasmussen has seen more than anybody else in his big league career are Guerrero and Springer. Stands to reason it would be somebody in the division, obviously. Vladdy is 6 for 27, a .222 average with 1 home run off Rasmussen in his career. Out of play, and it's 0-2.
Rasmussen will use the 3 variations of fastballs. The 4-seamer up, he'll sink it arm side into righties. Then he's got the cutter that he'll manipulate a little bit too, but they're all going to be firm. The 4-seamer up to 96.
Lucas the lead, and the 0-2 pitch down the right field line, dropping foul.
There was the 4-seamer right there, and it can really get on you. You see how late he is on that, just barely getting to it to foul it off. We saw Junior Caminero last night take a Dylan Cease sinker in off the plate, I think at 97. And he was able to hit a double into the left center gap.
Taken low as Guerrero picked up the fact that it was a changeup, didn't offer at it. Ball one. Check the swing, no appeal, 2-2.
There is that cutter from Rasmussen, almost like a mini slider with that break, but he will manipulate it. You'll see it take different shapes at times.
Ran that one in on him, and Guerrero fouls it off. Sinker in, cutter away, change up down, four-seamer up. It's tough.
Just good pitching, isn't it?
Yep.
Moving the ball in and out, up and down, changing speeds, and you've got Vladdy not knowing what's coming. You really have to play defense here.
Strike three called, and Guerrero is going to challenge.
Pitch called a strike, batter's challenging.
This closer look is brought to you by Specsavers, and it is a strike.
Pitch to strike. Toronto has one challenge left.
So Guerrero strikes out, and the Blue Jays down to one challenge. And that'll bring up the number 3 hitter tonight, Ernie Clement. As the frustration not only continues, it appears to be growing for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in recent days.
I'm sure it's growing across this whole team. Yep. It's just we don't necessarily see it from everyone, at least not visibly. But these are tough times right here for the Blue Jays when you come to the realization that any chance to get back in this thing seems to be dimming.
So John Schneider was asked about the lineup change. And again, there are only so many things you can do as a manager. And he said, well, hey, only scored 2 runs in the last 3 games, just trying to mix it up a little bit, and also said hoping to get a guy or 2 on in front of a guy who makes a ton of contact and hope that Clement can line one somewhere. This one dropping, and it's in there for a base hit. Basically saying he trusts Ernie to hit the ball. He hopes he's going to find some spot in the outfield and get a base hit, and that maybe somebody was in scoring position. Again, just pulling any lever he can think of. But you know, give credit to the 2 guys on base right now. Right. Lucas and Clement are more than anybody else on this team doing what you expect them to do right now.
They are bat to ball guys. Ernie's a hacker. It's tough to know what you want to throw him. You want to go fastball, or is he looking for it? You go breaking ball. He took that sweeper up in the zone and dropped it into center.
George Springer, the batter, and as we showed you when we showed you the lineup, Springer has been coming around in recent games and had a good night last night. Went 2 for 3, 2 singles, also walked. Line drive, base hit center field. Lucas broke back initially and is now getting held, and the bases were loaded. He had to make sure in his mind that ball got down in center field, and a couple of steps back towards second cost him the opportunity to score.
But where he's leading off, you want to make sure you know where the infielders are, but I'm not sure Nathan knew that the shortstop Walls was way to his right. The second baseman Williamson was way to his left. If he just breaks on that, he scores. But he had to make sure, and that's just to be as a base runner, you really need to know where those middle infielders are. And I'm sure that's what that discussion's about right there.
So here they are. They've gotten 3 hits, but they haven't scored any runs yet. They don't walk much. They don't hit for much power. They've really got to string hits together, which is awfully hard to do. And they've strung 3 of them together here and still haven't scored a run. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll have a big inning. But boy, the pressure is on now for Varsho and Okamoto to do some damage here this inning. Varsho 1 for 4 in last night's game. Had a base hit his last time up. John Schneider was asked before the game what he has seen in Varsho's at-bats recently, because it hasn't been going great for Varsho the last couple of weeks. And he said a couple of things. Don't miss the mistakes and let it rip. Don't try to make contact. Try to do damage, which is a common refrain that we have heard from Schneider. And now a pop up in the infield for the second out.
Well, and Dalton, I think, knows he's going to be pitched up. He's going to be pitched in, and that looked like a cutter from Rasmussen that you might even be looking for it, so you speed up a little bit, and he just caught that ball out front and popped it up in the infield.
So now Okamoto, who is 0 for his last 14, but still clearly has been the best run producer on this team this year. Up high, 1-1. With the 3 hits they have tonight, Joe, in the last 3 games now, including tonight, they've got 15 hits. Every single one of them is a single. It's a tough way to make a living in baseball in 2026.
It certainly is. How many times have we heard John Schneider use the word slug this year, or lack thereof?
And if you don't score in a situation like this, it just feeds into the, how they're going to get it done. What can they do better? They're getting them on okay. They're having trouble getting them in. And a swing and a miss. Rasmussen pitches out of it. They get 3 hits and do not score in the bottom of the first.
Pitching staff gathered on the mound here at Rogers Center this afternoon for a round of pitchers fielding practice, working on bunt defense, throwing to the bases, pickoff moves. I asked John Schneider, does that have anything to do with Monday night's game? And he said, no. Pete Walker had this scheduled long in advance, so I suppose we can say, at the very least, it was well timed, as the Blue Jays had a really stunning game defensively on Monday. Balls snuck under the gloves of Ernie Clement and Andres Jimenez. Kazuma Okamoto threw wide of first for his 3rd error in his last 5, and Dylan Cease airmailed a pickoff attempt into center, balked a runner over, and allowed Yandy Diaz to pick his pocket, stealing second without a throw. Now, Blue Jays pitchers lead the majors in errors. They are graded by StatCast as MLB's worst team at holding on runners. That is part of the reason why you're seeing Kevin Gausman work out of the windup here today. He last used it 8 years ago, but he brought it back in his last start, partly in search of better velocity, partly as an effort to better control the running game.
Arden, thank you. Top 2, 3-0 Rays. As the Rays strung together a walk and 4 hits after Gausman got the first 2 to score 3 runs, and then the Blue Jays 3 singles in the bottom of the first, but left the bases loaded. And if nothing else, as you said, should have had 1. Lucas should have been able to score on the play, but as you said, maybe just didn't know exactly where Taylor Walls, the shortstop, was, so he broke back to the bag. And not that inning is the season in a nutshell, but there's a lot of stuff in there that we have seen a lot of this year.
Not scoring a run is the season in a nutshell, right? Any way you talk about it, whether it's a bad read or a misplay.
Just misses, and it's 3-1 on the number 9 hitter, the catcher Nick Fortes. Splitter that he swings over, 3-2.
A lot of confidence in that splitter to throw it 3-1, and that's the one that Kevin can throw to carry the zone, stay in the strike zone in case he's taken that pitch. Try it again if he did it 3-1.
He does, and it's hit in the air down the left field line. A long run for Straw, and he's there as we go back down to Arden.
Quick update on Jonathan Clase. The Blue Jays say he was scratched from tonight's lineup prior to first pitch due to left foot discomfort. I'm told that the issue developed during his pregame running work, which is why he was lifted so close to game time. So that's left foot discomfort for Jonathan Clase, Dan.
Arden, thank you. And again, all we knew was it happened very late, and Miles Straw a late addition into the lineup. Yandy Diaz the batter. You and I, hours before the game, and this is unrelated to the foot injury, but saw Jonathan Clase out working on bunting extensively with Mark Budzinski, and John Schneider talked a lot about Clase in his office with the media before the game. They want him to lean into what he can do well, put the ball in play, get on base, use his speed, create some havoc. He's getting a pretty decent opportunity, and his first few games were really good, quieter the last few. Hopefully nothing serious, because we don't know what direction the season is going in, but if it goes in the direction it's been going in recently, a guy like Clase might have like a 2-month audition here to see if he's a part of this in 2027. Ground ball to third, scooped up by Okamoto. Bit low, but Guerrero has it, 2 down. So like the first inning, Kevin Gausman retires the first 2 batters here in the second. Didn't have to work as hard here this inning after Yandy Diaz saw 12 pitches in the first. 2 outs and the base is empty for Jonathan Aranda. 0 for 1 on a fly ball to left. And a little swinging bunt towards third, and there's not a thing Okamoto can do with this. That'll be an infield hit.
Well, Kevin Gausman has to remind you a little bit of Tyler Rogers with some of the soft contact that you see from hitters. Kevin Splitter will do that. It's a very funky pitch. You see Aranda way out front, just cues it off the end, and as soon as it went in that direction away from Kevin, that's a base hit.
So that brings Junior Caminero to the plate. Caminero walked to get the whole thing started in the top of the first.
And I thought it was a good idea. Maybe you should pitch to him.
After that, Mullins lined a double into the right field corner. DeLuca really with the key at bat, I think, of the inning, that just ticked it off the end of the bat down the right field line for a 2-run single. Simpson put up a good fight against Gausman, fouled off a bunch of pitches, then he flared one into the outfield for an RBI single, and the Rays had 3 runs. Down low, ball 2. That's a pretty confident take. Very, like, he wasn't flinching or fooled at all on that splitter down low.
Seeing it well, or again, good approach by laying off low, but you see that leg kick from Kevin Aranda, not a base stealer, but you see that big leg kick, and that's why guys are so successful against him. That fastball got deep on Caminero. So you speed him up with that, and then maybe come back either slider away or splitter. I still prefer the splitter only because it's a better pitch.
Gausman will usually throw, say, 10 to 15 sliders in a game, mostly to righties. Splitter down and in, ball 3.
That's a good take again, laying off that right out of his hand.
Doesn't look like it. Like, forget the physical skills. Doesn't look like a 23-year-old kid at the plate.
Yeah.
Aranda now is going to be on the move. And the 3-2, fouled back.
Kevin will, against left-handed hitters, the splitters are all going to be down and away. Righties, he will pull some and stay away from them as well. That'd be the ideal pitch right now if it carried the zone, but he's seeing it so well, you almost have to throw it for a strike, or he'll lay off.
Three-two again. Broken bat, pop-up. Clement racing after it and dropped it. Had it in his glove, and then it bounced towards his bare hand, but he couldn't squeeze it, and it falls.
Well, Kevin absolutely sawed off Caminero with this fastball, but it's so far away from Ernie. He had a long way to go, but he was there. It looked like he caught the baseball and it popped out of his glove. He's right there.
It goes as a base hit. He is frustrated. It has not been the kind of defensive season that Ernie Clement has wanted to have, or certainly than he had last year when he was one of the best defensive infielders in the game. It's now first and third, 2 down. The inning continues, and here's Mullins. And it just seems like this is the way it's going. Gausman got the first 2 outs. You've got a swinging bunt towards third and a flare to very shallow right. And now they're threatening again, and one timely hit, and they add on runs. Sometimes getting that third out has been very tough, it seems, for Blue Jay pitchers, and capitalizing in situations has been very tough for the offense. Like, you look at an inning or a game even and say, well, they hit the ball pretty well. They hit it about as well as that team, but they lost 6-1 or something like that. It's the big moments.
If you make a play on defense, it sure helps your pitcher close out an inning, right?
Pitch is high, ball 1 as Valenzuela bluffs a throw down to third.
That could be a case of you're calling an 0-2 fastball up in the zone. It's almost a mini pitch out, trying to get a wild swing from Mullins, but you might try to pick off that runner, but Okamoto way off the bag.
Fly ball to left. Straw racing over towards the line, and he makes the catch. And Gausman pitches around it, and the Rays cannot add to their lead. This bird's eye view is provided by WestJet, official airline of the Toronto Blue Jays. Roof is closed at Rogers Center tonight, but that doesn't stop the WestJet drone from getting us some cool shots here in downtown Toronto. Going to the bottom of the second, it is 3-0 Rays. I mean, a little bit of strange, Joe, in every half inning already in this ball game. Here's Brandon Valenzuela, getting the start behind the plate, batting 7th and leading off the bottom of the second.
Blue Jays fans are saying, how about a little strange in the Blue Jays' favor?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to create your own.
Fouls it back, 1-1. And that's Ernie Clement obviously looking at the ball he dropped. It didn't cost him any runs, but that's not going to make him feel any better. He doesn't want to make Kevin Gausman throw any more pitches, and he knows, you know, the risk he put Gausman at by not making the play. And I think the frustrating part, you know, we've talked about a lot of the hitters, and Ernie's not among them, who have not had the kind of year offensively they had last year. And Ernie would be the first to tell you he hasn't had the same kind of year defensively, and I'm sure he's as baffled by it as anybody.
Yeah, it's baffling to watch, actually, as the year has continued to go on. And saw that ball get by him last night under his glove, a hard hit ball with the infield in, but still, that's a play that Ernie Clement makes 99 times out of 100. We just haven't seen it as much this year. And then that ball, sure, he's got a long way to go to it, but as he knows, his reaction right there landed right in his glove and popped out.
2-2 on Valenzuela. Takes it in, ball 3. Rasmussen is a guy who has unbelievably good numbers against right-handed batters, so it would make sense that tonight is the night Valenzuela gets a start. See how the rest of the series plays out behind the plate. And he checks the swing and takes ball 4.
I said at the outset, not many base runners against Drew Rasmussen. He doesn't walk many, doesn't give up too many hits, so good plate appearance there by Valenzuela to maybe get something going at the bottom of the order.
That'll bring up Andres Jimenez, who hit a home run earlier this year off Rasmussen, and you could see him sneak a peek to see where Caminero is down at third.
Another peek.
And you know what, again, when you're struggling every which way you can as a team to score runs, guys are more likely to be put in motion. Guys are more likely to think about dropping a bunt down. Caminero even with a bag. And that's what Jimenez wants back. It is 0-2. So now Caminero can back up. He's gone way deeper over towards short. a swing and a miss. Rasmussen gets him on 3 pitches.
That fastball up and away has given Jimenez all kinds of trouble this year, and he sets it up with that cutter diving down and in, a very awkward swing, but this one's by him on the outer part.
3rd strikeout of the night for Rasmussen. And the batter will be Miles Straw, and the late addition into the lineup. Jonathan Clase removed just minutes before first pitch due to left foot discomfort. Just a little kind of a bit of levity, because I think everybody around this team could use a little bit of levity right now. But you and I were watching early BP, and Miles Straw is a regular. He's an everyday at early BP, and we're talking like 2:30, 2:45 in the afternoon. Little looper shallow center, and that's caught by Mullins for the 2nd out. So Straw was one of 3 guys taking BP, and they were giving a tour of the Rogers Center at the time, and they were down on the field between, like, right about where the visiting on deck circle is. So maybe, I don't know, 30 feet from the plate. And Miles is swinging and swinging, and every time he hit a home run, they all broke into spontaneous applause. And if he hit it off the wall, they didn't do anything. But he's trying to take BP. There's not a noise in the ballpark other than the crack of the bat and 30 people clapping if he hit a home run.
And then us laughing.
Yeah.
They got the bonus plan with their tour today.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, 1 the count on Lucas, who was aboard on an infield hit in the 1st. And a ground ball to 2nd. So the leadoff walk, nothing more. 3-0 Rays at the end of 2. Well, back here at Rogers Center, our friend Anna Dua has moved on to tennis and then hockey in the fall. So we'd like to welcome the newest member of our team here at the ballpark, Maria Papadakis. Hello.
Thanks so much, Dan. Hi, I'm here at Schneider's Porch in the outfield district, which is one of my favorite places to watch any game at Rogers Center. And of course, on Tuesday nights for Looney Dogs night presented by Schneider's. Now, this is a great place to watch the game. Always so many fans, so much high energy, and of course, hot dogs literally everywhere you look. It's a great place to come with the friends and family. And hey, while you're here, you might even get to see that Looney Dog count continue to climb up. Don't forget to visit Schneider's Porch next time you're here at the Rogers Center so you can see why I truly love it. Now, Dan, are you going to be adding to those Looney Dog numbers tonight?
I would love to.
Double down, Dan.
Absolutely.
Double down.
Absolutely. Over closing in on 63,000 already, and everybody loves them. Fans of all ages.
That could be 3 generations right there.
Yeah.
Blue Jays fans.
And for the young guy in the middle, that could be 3 innings by the time he finishes it, but he's going to enjoy every bite of it. 3-0 Rays, top of the 3rd. Johnny DeLuca, who had a 2-run single in the 1st. He'll lead it off against Kevin Gausman. And a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Came over a couple of years ago in a deal with the Dodgers. I think some people think on the outside like the Rays are an extreme draft and develop kind of team, and I mean they want to do that obviously, but a ton of the guys they've gotten and the success they've had has come through trades, really more than the draft. They inevitably end up trading guys when they get close to free agency, get expensive, and they just seem to have a knack more often than most of grabbing the right young players out of the farm system of the team they're trading with.
Brandon Lau was the biggest name last year that was traded away in the offseason to the Pirates.
Line to center field. Varsho over to make the play. Gausman's gotten the first batter he's faced now in all 3 innings, and here's, I don't know if there's enough data to say this guy is a nemesis for Kevin Gausman, but 8 for 13 now against him, and just fouls off pitches, fouls off pitches. And he'll try to do that, and he's so fast, he does it very well.
I mean, that speed is one thing, but you literally cannot roll a bunt out there any better. He absolutely deadens the baseball. And ideally, you want to get this toward the end of the bat. That's what really deadens it. Not a lot of spin on it, so it stays straight, stays fair. Right toward the end of the bat.
Joe, that is his 9th bunt single on the season and his 35th infield hit.
Well, let's keep an eye on him because he might be on second base momentarily.
Got 24 on the season, including one last night.
There's a little slide step from Kevin, trying to abbreviate that delivery. So he's working on it, and it's hard to do what he just did. He threw a splitter off of that slide step, and it stayed down. That's a good sign in terms of his delivery.
Not going. And it's lined to center, a base hit for Williamson. Charging Varsho, it bounces off his glove, and that allows Simpson to come to third. Simpson had put the brakes on, but when it bounced away from Varsho, he came to third.
Another misplay. Dalton just charging this baseball. There is no threat of the runner going to third base. Yes, it's Simpson, and yes, he's a fast runner, but Dalton just gave himself a bit of a short hop. Maybe peeked up at the last second at Simpson because of his speed.
So second night in a row, the Blue Jays not playing clean baseball in the field. Remember the Clement play in and out of his glove, and now this. And it's first and third, one out. Infield in, and you knew Walls was going to do that. The Rays for years have loved the first and third safety squeeze, and especially with a light hitting guy like Walls, almost an automatic that at least on the first pitch he would think about it.
Feels like this play was really initiated back in the Joe Madden days with the Tampa Bay Rays. It's just very difficult to defend because the first baseman's holding the runner. He's got 90 feet to come to field a bunt.
Squares again. Throw down to third. Kind of sort of a pitch out there, right? I mean, they knew the play was on to go to third, but do you think it was a fastball a little bit outside by design?
If you're calling a fastball away, that's one thing. If it's elevated as a catcher, you can just react. I don't think it's a called play, but as a catcher, if you get a ball that you can handle, come up and fire because you know the third baseman's right there.
The runner at first, Williamson's got pretty good speed as well. Kevin Cash can do a bunch of different things in this situation. Their contact ability and their speed, those things allow them to.
Still got a bunt, don't you?
I would think he does. Yeah, he squares, pulls it back, ball two.
It's just everything is simmering toward that. You've got Walls at the plate, a light hitting shortstop that can handle the bat a little bit.
Well, even if he gets it down, even if you make the play cleanly, they probably score a run. And above and beyond that, you're putting pressure on them just to make the play cleanly.
Very difficult to come in, make a play, and a tag play at the plate on a speedy runner like Simpson.
And it's down. And Gausman flips to the plate. The tag, they got him. So Gausman executes it perfectly. Flips it to Valenzuela in time for out number two.
The only way you can defend it successfully is if it's a poor bunt, and the bunt was hard by Walls, almost right back to Gausman, and the Blue Jays executed it perfectly. Ideally, Walls is trying to pull that ball. If that's even a few feet more toward the first base line, it's mission accomplished because of the speed of Simpson.
So a good defensive play by Gausman to cut down a potential run at the plate. First and second, two down for the number 9 hitter Nick Fortes, who hit a fly ball to left in his first at bat. Gausman, largely on all the pitches he had to throw in the first inning, is up to 73 right now. Although he has not had a clean inning yet, the Rays have had at least 2 men on in every inning. A little bit low, and it's 2-0. And this is the guy you really want to get. You got Yandy Diaz on deck. Little chopper out in front of the plate. Valenzuela down to first, and they get out of it. 2 men left on, going to the bottom of the third.
Discover the magic of BetMGM Casino. Check out a wide variety of table games with a live dealer, roulette, blackjack, and more. Download the BetMGM Ontario app. Please gamble responsibly.
Second game of 4 between the Blue Jays and the Rays. Tampa Bay is 6-1 against the Blue Jays this year, including that 7-1 win last night. They're up 3-0 tonight. It'll be Guerrero, Clement, and Springer here against Rasmussen, as Guerrero looks at a 96-mile-an-hour four-seamer down the middle for a strike. Guerrero was called out on strikes, challenged the final pitch, but it was upheld as a strike. Just low. And on the outside corner, Rasmussen out in front now, 1-2.
I think he pulled that pitch. I think that was supposed to be a sinker on the inner part of the plate, but he yanked it. Still gets the call on the outside edge.
That one is sliced foul out of play off to the right. In the air, right center, but Mullins is there, one down. So Guerrero now 0 for 2 as he makes his way back to the dugout, and Rasmussen to face Ernie Clement, who had a base hit in the first. His average now up to .299. He is third in the American League in batting average, behind only Yordan Alvarez and Yandy Diaz. Outside corner, and is Clement challenging? He is. They're down to 1.
Pitch is called a
remember.
strike. The batter's challenging.
So you would think Ernie feels pretty certain about this, and it is off the corner.
Pitch to the ball. Toronto has 1 left.
Nasty cutter, 1-1.
That's great location from Rasmussen, especially when you're behind in the count 1-0 to the hitter. You get Ernie, of course, is always in aggressive mode, but looks like a strike all the way. That is a strike to ball pitch.
Takes that one just outside. Same pitch and really just about the same spot, but Clement picked it up just a touch earlier. Center, going back is Mullins to the warning track. He makes the play, 2 down.
Ernie does a good job getting to this pitch, but after those cutters away, he goes sinker in. You see Ernie trying to stay inside that pitch. Got a lot of it, but not all of it, as he just scooped. He kind of stayed inside it and sliced it. Still hit it pretty deep to center.
And a little smile and some words between guys who were teammates of the All-Star game last week. That's why Clement and Rasmussen chatting a little bit. 2 down. Here's George Springer, who had a base hit back in the first. Solid line drive to center. That was the one where Lucas broke back to second, unable to score. One and one. Grounder to short, big hop for Walls, and a 1-2-3 bottom of the third for Drew Rasmussen.
Third start in a Blue Jays uniform, regular and postseason included, and if this year continues in the direction been going of late, the speculation around pending free agents such as him is only going to increase in advance of the August 3rd trade deadline. So this is as good of a time as any to take a look at some of the most impactful free agent contracts the club has ever signed, and note just how much Gausman's contributed over his 4.5 seasons in Toronto with 20 wins above replacement. Now, many of these deals are of recent vintage, Springer, Martin, Semien, because the Blue Jays didn't always sign big free agent contracts like they do now. Who knows where Dylan Cease could end up at the end of his 7 years in a Blue Jays uniform? It is worth noting in Gausman's case that if the Blue Jays remain on turn, he's lined up for 2 more starts, one in Boston and one at home against St. Louis prior to the trade deadline.
Arden, thank you. Let's start with what Gausman has done here. Again, this is the 5th year of his 5-year deal. In his time with the Blue Jays, he has started 31, 31, 31, 32, and now this is his 21st start this year as Yandy Diaz shoots one into right for a leadoff base hit. He has been durable and he has been very good. He has always been the 1 or 2 on this staff, kind of depending on the year. He's been a great teammate. He's been a model citizen. He's been a big proponent of Toronto and Canada. And most importantly, what he's done on the mound, he has been a tremendously important part of this team over the last 5 seasons.
I think reliability is the word that comes to mind right away. You just know what you're getting from Kevin Gausman. He is going to take the ball every turn. 30+ starts each of his 5 seasons here as a Blue Jay, and as I said in the open, what I marvel at is how he really kind of came to be a little bit later in his career, 7th, 8th season in the big leagues, when he really became that 2-pitch pitcher. And I remember him when he first got here, told me the story, but when he got traded to Atlanta, and then he was put on waivers and claimed by the Reds. But it was Atlanta that told him that we got to get rid of the slider. It's not a good pitch. Let's stick with a splitter. And then that's when the Kevin Gausman that we're seeing now really got going.
He's 35 years old, and obviously still competing at a high level. Let's now get into the next part of Arden's story. And Arden and Shai Davidi talked about this before the game at length on Blue Jays Central 2. The trade deadline is approaching. Nobody knows what direction the Blue Jays are going to go in, but the standings are not in their favor right now. They're 5.5 games out of the last wild card spot, a bunch of teams ahead of them. If teams are going to trade players, the first place you look is players on expiring contracts. And Kevin Gausman is on an expiring contract. We may be rapidly approaching the end of his time with the Blue Jays. I don't think anybody thought we'd be having that conversation in July as opposed to late or after the season. He is scheduled to make another start Sunday in Boston, and then, as Arden said, he is scheduled to start in the middle game of the St. Louis series, probably on the Saturday, just a couple of days before the trade deadline. That is bounced foul, but who knows? Shai reported on Blue Jays Central that Gausman has limited no trade language in his contract, that he can, and you do this before the year, he can designate 8 teams where he won't be traded, but any of the others they could trade him to. It would be a sad day for Kevin Gausman to be traded, for it to end that way. And again, we don't know if it's going to happen, but there is the possibility that this could be his last time pitching as a Blue Jay here at Rogers Center, if they do trade him, and if it were to happen, a few days before the deadline.
They are going to need to put a Boston Red Sox type streak together here real soon. Winners of 14 in a row.
And the Rays continue to make him throw pitches. This time it's Jonathan Aranda. So again, we'll see. You're right. It has to do with the wins and losses. If they can get on a roll and make up some ground, but the last 3-4 weeks is when they have really put themselves in this predicament. They are 7-15 in their last 22. They were 500 at 39-39, and in the last wild card spot about a month ago, and now they're 8 games under and 5.5 out. Lifted to left, and Miles Straw waits. Gausman wants a new baseball in his 5 years with the Blue Jays. 153 starts, including the postseason. 8 postseason appearances, 7 of them starts in a Blue Jay uniform. Dave Steve for so many years up at the top of so many lists.
And for Kevin, he didn't become a Blue Jay until like his 10th year in the big leagues. Yeah. All those other guys on that list generally started out in the big leagues as Blue Jays. So Kevin joining later, and in his 5 seasons, as I said, he's taken the ball in his turn. 30+ starts, he said, for 5 straight seasons. On pace to do that anyway.
And I think one of the things fans liked about him, even beyond the pitching, and I mentioned it briefly, is how much he embraced the city. He and his family have embraced the city. Like he would post about being at the zoo, or he would ask the public for, hey, I need to get this. Where can I buy that? You know, that whatever the this and the that were. Very visible in the city, very open and public about how much he liked playing in Canada.
And don't think players don't talk. That's a really good thing. When you treat your players the way the Blue Jays do, word gets around, and that's the way they've been able to attract free agents. And I'm sure the Blue Jays will do their due diligence if that time comes in the coming weeks, that when you have pending free agents on expiring contracts, you have to go get what you can for them in return. We saw it at the end of 24. It wasn't a lot of fun, but it's the business of baseball.
Yeah. And whether they trade him or not, assuming he wants to continue his career, there is nothing stopping Gausman and the Blue Jays from, maybe doing a short, one-year deal to bring him back or something like that. But that's obviously a matter for another day.
You would move him first,
yes,
to get something in return and then try to get him back. Now, always tougher because then he's a free agent open to everybody. Yep. But I think on any expiring contract, you have to go get something for him. We've saw them do that rather successfully in 24, actually. Take your shot on whatever you can get in return.
And he is not the only player on the team on an expiring contract. He is probably the biggest fish in terms of who contending teams might want. George Springer is on an expiring contract. Dalton Varsho, his contract is up. Shane Bieber, Miles Straw, Max Scherzer, among others. 3-2 the count on Caminero. That's ball 4. For what it's worth, George Springer is a 10-5 guy, 10 years in the majors, 5 with the same team, so he's got full no trade protection. And this is going to be all for Kevin Gausman here tonight. So unfortunately, not the kind of outing he was hoping for. The Rays just kept making him work inning after inning, and they capitalized with 2 outs in the first to get 3, and that's going to be all for Gausman here tonight after 3 1/3 as he makes his way towards the third base dugout. First and second, 1 out with Cedric Mullins at the plate. Mason Fluharty coming in to face this lefty. Mullins has doubled and flied out so far tonight as he takes a sweeper over the outside corner for a called strike.
Well, Fluharty's been tough on left-handed hitters, especially with that pitch right there, and he gets ahead with it in the zone with that sweeper. Leads the majors with his 52nd appearance.
Okamoto in at third, 2 on with 1 out, and the 1-1. That sweeper just misses outside, ball 2. The Rays strike out less often than any team in baseball, and they will make you work, and they certainly have done that here tonight. Here's a ground ball to first. Guerrero off to Jimenez for 1, no chance for 2. So it'll be a fielder's choice, first and third, 2 down.
That's a very nice job by Fluharty getting over there. Vladdy does a good job getting this ball to the second base bag, but as a pitcher, that's a tough play for a lefty. You've got to run over there, get your feet right. It's a bit of a slow developing play because it was chopped, but Fluharty, a lot of things can go wrong on a play like that, especially with that other runner rounding third. Throws a little bit late, but that could have been a lot worse.
So now Johnny DeLuca is the batter. DeLuca had a 2-run single in the first and then lined out to center in the third. There goes the runner from first. They'll throw through, and it's high and into center. And a run comes in to score as Valenzuela will be charged with a throwing error.
Well, we saw this earlier on the stolen base in this game, and I think the catchers even might be trying to speed up. They know that they've got to make up for some lost time. You see the runner get a good jump to the corner of your eye, and Brandon, again, it looks like the body gets out ahead of him, and the arm just never comes through. It's just airborne.
A stolen base and a throwing error, and it's 4-0. And that's the second error committed by the Blue Jays tonight and the 5th in the last 2 games. And a good chunk of that is the Rays' speed putting pressure on the Blue Jays. And that's not to let the Blue Jays off the hook. They're making the errors, but the Rays' speed puts pressure on the opposing team, and the Blue Jays have not responded well to that pressure.
And that's the key. Have not responded well to that pressure. How do you respond to the pressure? You play good fundamental baseball, and we just haven't seen it this year. This is a team that Arden talked about this earlier tonight. They talked so much about defense over the last several years, and it's been a huge thing for them, and it's just not there right now.
A base hit through the left side for DeLuca will bring in Mullins to make it 5-0.
But Kevin Cash just plugs and plays Johnny DeLuca and Ben Williamson, the 2 right-handers, inserted into the lineup tonight. Palacios and Victor Mesa Jr. out. He can just keep platooning and play the way he wants.
Chandler Simpson, a couple of hits tonight. Had an RBI single in the first and a bunt single in the third. Okamoto's weighing again. DeLuca the lead. If you look at the lineup, 1, 2, 3 are the big guys, the thumpers. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All of them have plus speed. 5 guys in a row in the lineup tonight. All have plus speed. And they make contact. Swing and a miss again by Simpson, 0-2.
And for a team that doesn't necessarily hit the long ball as much, they do everything else to create all this havoc, and speed is part of that. Not a big extra base hitting machine, but they'll steal bases, put the ball in play. They don't strike out.
Runner going, throw down, out at second base. Let's see if the Rays are going to challenge this. It looked close. Valenzuela looking back, Kevin Cash looking back. The 15 seconds ticking away, and they will not challenge. So Valenzuela throws out DeLuca, but the Rays get 2 runs here in the top of the 4th. Best tennis players in the world return to Canada in just a few weeks. Coverage of the National Bank Open presented by Rogers begins August 2nd only on Sportsnet. Bottom of the 4th inning here at Rogers Center. It's now 5-0 for the Rays. It'll be Varsho, Okamoto, and Valenzuela against Rasmussen. Varsho popped up to third with the bases loaded and 1 out in the first. Kazuma Okamoto struck out, so Rasmussen got out of that. And after a leadoff walk in the second, nothing since. 6 in a row that he set down. Swing and a miss, 1-2. You said it before. It's a cutter, but it really looks like a really hard slider. It moves a lot.
And Dalton has to expect that that's where they're going to go on him. That's how he got him to pop up in that first inning. I think right there, it's almost like he's trying to get to that thing and clear it out of there.
A great catch out at second by Ben Williamson for the out. Told you before, a very good defender, a natural third baseman, but playing more second, a little bit of short. He can handle all three.
Good piece by Dalton here. It's a changeup down. You're dealing with 2 strikes against Rasmussen. Not an easy position to be in, and he gets the barrel too, and that's a little frustration right there for any hitter. You hit one hard. We've seen him hit some hard balls at people. That's really cost him throughout his struggles.
Now Okamoto goes after the first pitch and pops it up, and just like that, 2 down. Okamoto is now 0 for 16 over the last 5 games. And very quickly, 2 outs for Rasmussen to bring up Brandon Valenzuela.
Rasmussen's having a lot of fun there. He knows he kind of backed up that sweeper. Not an ideal pitch, but he's still got a weak contact, weak pop up from Okamoto.
Valenzuela walked in the second. On the outside corner. And floats one in there to get out in front of 1-2. This will find the seats over the third base dugout. Rasmussen calling his own pitch on PitchCom. Coming in on him. Too far, up and in, 2-2. And a swing and a miss to get him and end the inning. End of 4, and the Rays lead the Blue Jays 5-0.
Welcome back to Rogers Center, where I'm surrounded by so much Blue Jays history, and it has been an incredible homestand getting to celebrate the club's championship years. Now, everyone here remembers Saturday as we got to see the unveiling of the statue honoring Joe Carter and, of course, the back-to-back World Series teams. Now, the celebrations will continue on Monday, August 10th during the next home stretch, as the first 15,000 fans through the Rogers Center doors will be able to get their hands on this back-to-back World Series replica trophy. It's a great way to bring home some Blue Jays history and, of course, an item to add to the collection. Now, Dan, I'll be trying to getting my hands on one of these.
Maria, thank you. That's a game against the Boston Red Sox coming up in August. Joe Carter jersey here in the ballpark tonight. And a member of the Level of Excellence, soon to be renamed as the Hall of Excellence here at Rogers Center. Top of the 5th inning, 5-0 Rays, and the new pitcher, Joe, for the Blue Jays is Lázaro Estrada.
Estrada was recalled again, been up and down several times this season. Pitched against the White Sox on Sunday, just closed out that 3-0 loss with a scoreless inning. And this one guy that can give a little bit of length, multiple innings, I'm sure, here to try to help that Blue Jays bullpen get through this, as this offense somehow tries to get to Rays pitching.
Chandler Simpson, the first batter for him. Okamoto, of course, is in at third again. As Simpson takes ball 1. Simpson was at the plate when DeLuca was thrown out trying to steal to end the top of the 4th. Okamoto's got to be on high alert when Simpson is in the box, whether it's a a bunt attempt or a swinging bunt. He's already got a bunt single tonight.
He'll drag that third baseman in so shallow that now slashing anything to the left side of the infield's got a good chance to go through. And again, that's just all part of using your weaponry if you're a speedy runner like Simpson. These are the guys that frustrate you too. I know as a catcher, these are the kind of guys who'd be like, just hit a ground ball at somebody. Because if it's not at somebody, it's going to be an adventure.
Hit it hard at somebody.
Yeah.
This is going to be trouble.
Yeah.
Jimenez can't get him. This is who he is. This is what he does.
Right on cue. And this is what I mean. As soon as that ball bounced in front of home plate, you're just thinking infield hit. Andres can't do anything more. Can't do anything more, and he's a left-handed batter, so he's already running out of the batter's box almost. That swing, his momentum has taken him out of the box and toward the first base bag.
His third hit of the game, his second infield hit. And now here's Ben Williamson, 2 for 2 with a couple of singles.
Pretty big leg kick that time from Estrada. We'll see if he makes an adjustment. Quickens it up at all.
Simpson not going, and it's in the dirt, smothered by Valenzuela.
This can be fun for a catcher because you're anticipating him going any one of these pitches, so you're gearing up back there. But I thought a couple of the throws from Valenzuela tonight were those rushed throws, and if your footwork in exchange has to be right, and I thought when he rushed the first couple, third one was a little better.
Ooh, almost threw it over Guerrero. Kind of human nature to rush a little bit when a guy like Simpson's on first base, though.
It's human nature, absolutely, especially when you see that good jump out of the corner of your eye. Problem is you're just creating more problems because then you're not right mechanically. You can only make up for so much time as a catcher.
There he goes, and it's lined into right, a base hit. He slid into second, so he's got to stay there. He had already kind of committed to the slide and didn't know where the baseball was. Otherwise, he would have come around to third.
Well, it looked like Ernie Clement pulled out a little decoy there, and Chandler Simpson had no idea where the baseball was. Some base stealers will peek in. He did not, but here comes Ernie right here, pretending he's receiving the throw. Simpson thinks a throw's coming to Ernie, or now he realizes the ball's in right field.
So good job by Ernie.
Excellent.
That saves 90 feet. But it's first and second, nobody out. Here's Taylor Walls, and again, this could be a bunt situation.
I laugh because that's what we've been saying. That's who they are. We've been saying for 5 innings.
Not here. He did it unsuccessfully, first and third last time up. Did not show on the first pitch, but you can see a long look down to Brady Williams, his third base coach. Okamoto's got to have some attention on the plate and also some attention on Simpson. I think it's tough to quantify speed. You can't just look at stolen bases and caught stealings. Obviously, you can look at things like extra bases taken, but there's some things you can't quantify. Does the pitcher slide step? Does the pitcher throw more fastballs because he's worried about a stolen base? Does a fielder rush? Does a catcher rush? There are so many ways where I think speed helps you that don't necessarily show up in the numbers.
Yeah, and I think any player on the field will tell you they hate when you're playing a team like this that can do so many different things because you're on your toes every single play.
Two and two on Walls, the number 8 hitter. Simpson at second, Williamson at first, and nobody out. And he taps it foul back to the screen. overall, they're not a great offensive team. I mean, again, the top 3 guys do what they do, and everybody else chips in where they can. But they're the best offensive team I think they can be given their personnel. Everybody is doing what is asked of them.
Yep. And you talked about last night in terms of payroll. That's what you have to do to maximize that payroll if you're Kevin Cash. You've got guys filling specific roles that they are very good at. You're not asking people to do something that they're not necessarily capable of. Platoon type players in some places. Your big boppers are up at the top.
Makes Kevin Cash's job very hands-on with this kind of a roster. Outside, it's full.
Yeah, it's not your old classic American League roster with the DH and a lot of boppers where you just lay it out there and let them go play.
See if the runners are going here. They're not. And it's strike 3 called. That's the first out of the inning.
Well, Lazaro Estrada will take it, but this is a pitch that Taylor Walls should be teeing off on me to let it rip.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order with the Subway app using the code STRIKEOut. Now the catcher, Nick Fortes, who is 0 for 2.
This is where you got to watch for them possibly running. With 1 out and the right-handed hitter up, if they can get to second and third, now you're both in scoring position. You give the hitter enough pitches, but that first pitch strike is critical right there because now you've got him a little bit on the defense.
Not going. And a swing and a miss 0-2, but Simpson gets a very healthy secondary lead out there.
Ernie's doing what he can to keep him close because he knows he has to. He's right next to the second base bag.
But again, then another example of what speed does. Now you've opened up a bigger hole on the right side. Check swing. Peel down to first, didn't go.
That looked like a case where the home plate umpire Chris Conroy asked for help himself because Brandon blocked the ball and then he's running out to get it. I don't think he could have been yelling, "Can you check please?" But it's what hitters always ask. Just ask for help. That's a tough call to make for a home plate umpire on that check swing.
Fly ball well hit, deep left field. Straw back to the wall and it's gone. Nick Fortes has homered for the second night in a row, and the Rays have blown it open.
Nick Fortes hit a slider off Brendan Little from the left side last night to pad the Rays lead. He's done it again tonight on an elevated fastball from Estrada.
They had to make sure you can't pass the runner. Williamson had gone back to tag on that play. So Fortes has 4 home runs this season, and 2 of them have come in the first 2 games of this series. That'll get you a hug. In the air to right center, Varsho makes the play. Yandy Diaz retired for the second out. Man, it has been all Rays through the first game and a half, if you will, here in this series.
They are looking more like the first place Rays, and Kevin Cash said yesterday after the sweep of the Boston Red Sox when they swept the Rays, and he said yes, they're playing really well right now. Sometimes it's just when you catch a team. The Red Sox are hot, but I have full confidence my guys can get back on track, and that they have done.
In the dirt, 1-1 on Jonathan Aranda. 8 runs on 13 hits now for the Rays. No runs, 3 hits, and 2 errors for the Blue Jays. in there, 1-2. Denise, strike 3 call. But a 3-run homer for Nick Fortes makes it 8-0 Tampa Bay. And time now for an update with Jamie Campbell.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Jays Care wants to send you on your next dream vacation. Join in on the jackpot of the summer and you could win a luxury Hawaii getaway or a trip to Rome and the Amalfi Coast. Then on August 2nd, you could take home the grand prize, which is already over $1 million. Visit BlueJays.com/5050 to join in today from participating provinces.
Thank you, Maria. To the bottom of the 5th, Andres Jimenez to lead it off. He'll be followed by Miles Straw and Nathan Lucas. Jimenez struck out in the 2nd. Did it get him? Nope, narrowly missed him. Ball 1. Rasmussen coming off a very tough start against the Yankees. His last one before the All-Star break gave up 6 earned runs in 2 1/3. But having much more success here tonight. 3rd time the Blue Jays have seen him this year, and in each of the first 2 he went 6 innings and he gave up 3 runs. And really they had a chance to put a dent in him in the 1st inning. Bases loaded, 1 out, could not capitalize.
Coming off a couple of tough ones. He was pitcher of the month in June, pitched to an ERA under 1, but then had a couple of tough ones in July.
And he gets Jimenez for the 2nd time. 5th on the night for Rasmussen.
Similar to the last time, and we've seen pitchers attack Jimenez the same way, up in the zone. Up and out over the plate. We've seen them come in. Very similar to the approach against Dalton Varsho. Nathan Lucas.
Now Miles Straw. Off the end of the bat, a looper to center that's down for a base hit.
Pretty good pitch from Rasmussen too, especially as a first pitch that cut her down on the way, but Straw gets the barrel to it just enough toward the end of the bat, but drops in front of Mullins. Got to stay through that pitch very well, otherwise you're just rolling it over weakly to 3rd.
Top of the order, Nathan Lucas, 1 for 2. Fastball for a strike. Caminero backed up at 3rd. Aranda playing in front of Straw at 1st. And an 0-2 count on Lucas.
Is that fastball in again?
You know, again, this guy's had 3 elbow surgeries, 2 of them full Tommy John. And look at this arm.
Crazy. You look at his numbers in a Rays uniform. He debuted with the Brewers, but 6th season with Tampa. They're really good.
Be interesting to see. Obviously the Rays are in it. They lead the division. They'll go out and add, but you know, little ads or a big ad. That's off the mitt of the catcher Fortes, so Straw can take 2nd. You know, do they really go out and get a couple of guys? I mean, we've talked a lot about this roster and this lineup especially, but imagine putting one more really good bat behind Caminero in the cleanup spot. What that would do for this team.
Just really lengthens it, right? You can have those role type players that we described in the bottom half. You still have them all, but boy, another bopping type bat to maybe run into a few more. And we know how the power of the long ball plays in the postseason.
especially in a year where the American League appears to be as wide open as it is. Like, there are no superpowers in the American League this year. This is a team that could go to the World Series, and if they made an addition or two, even better for them.
That bullpen has been pretty locked down. You know you like to have that in the postseason.
Line just foul.
I think that's Nathan Lucas's sweet spot. Any breaking balls down in the zone. This is the cutter again, but I think it's a bit of a mini slider, and it's down and in. The way he sinks into his legs, he can handle that soft stuff down. That's where I think he'll do more damage. He can get to fastballs, but I don't think he's going to do as much damage against fastballs as he does those breakers down in the zone.
Yeah, fastballs usually hit to left.
Yeah,
right? So,
more base hits.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Off the mask of the umpire, Chris Conroy. Fortes turning around to make sure he's okay. No more the shoulder, really.
The shoulder pad's working, but he didn't flinch.
So it's 2-2 with a runner at second and one out. And that's fouled back. You know, Nathan Lucas always looks like Nathan Lucas at the plate, right? I mean, he just grinds and grinds and does this. And,
you know, he was a Ray.
Yeah, that's right. He was in their system.
He looks like a Ray right
that's
now.
Right.
We've been watching from Ray's hitters for 2 days.
Yeah, got to AAA in the Tampa Bay system. Takes it up and in. Full count. He'd have fit in well there if he'd had gotten an opportunity, but the Blue Jays are glad that he's with them. Grounded to second. 2 down, runner at third. The batter is Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who is 0 for 2 tonight. Miles Strauss at third with 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th. And a ground ball to short. Walls has it, and that'll be that. The runner left at third. And at the end of 5, it is 8-0 for the Rays. Junior Caminero, who just turned 23. This is considered his age 22 season because his birthday was after June 30th. 81 home runs, and he's got a couple of months to add to these totals. That's a pretty impressive list to be on, and he's going to climb, Joe, before the end of the year.
He's going to climb, and it's an impressive list because when we're looking at Caminero, you said at 23 years old, he is going to be a problem here in the AL East for a long time.
Swung and missed, but a very forceful swing. And he'll use his timeout early in this at bat.
Most very dangerous hitters, when you look at the numbers, they're going to do tons of damage on fastballs. That's where you're doing, that's where you're making most of your money. That's where you're doing a lot of the damage. Now, a lot of them can do it to breaking balls as well. But that's where he has done a lot of his damage.
It's from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Last year hit 45 home runs, drove in 110.
I think it's a combination too of, obviously he's a very young, strong man, and the way he gets his body into position. He has a big move to the baseball when you watch it. It reminds me a little bit, not like Mookie Betts, but Mookie Betts makes that big move too. But that big move to the baseball, I say that's really almost a jump out to the pitcher, which you don't want to do, but he really gets that foot down and crunches that backside and front side together. A lot of tension that is released.
He'll draw a leadoff walk here in the 6th. It's the 3rd time he's walked tonight. Now Cedric Mullins. 1 for 3, doubled and scored in the 1st, and then scored again in the 4th after reaching out a fielder's choice. Little bit low, ball 2. Estrada a little bit frustrated after walking the first batter, falling behind this one. He knows what his assignment here is, and it's give them as much length as possible. This is his 2nd inning. Way up in the air to left center. Who's going to take it? It'll be Straw, the left fielder, to make the catch. 1 down.
Like Dalton was coming over for that, whether he lost it and looked to Straw, but then Straw was looking at Dalton. I think maybe Miles lost it for a split second, but then Varsh was pointing to him saying, it's yours, and then he found it again. That's not a good feeling when you're in the outfield, but they make the play. That's why you both want to stay with that as long as possible, just in the event the other guy loses it.
Johnny DeLuca, the batter, 2 for 3, couple of hits, 3 runs driven in. Estrada out in front of 1-2. Estrada tried a breaking ball down and away again, but this time DeLuca wouldn't bite. Ooh, strike 3 called. No challenge from DeLuca. Kind of felt low in live time, but he won't challenge, and that's out number 2.
Oh, I thought that was going to be an immediate challenge, but he does not, and it certainly looked like he was well below the zone. And Valenzuela does a nice job getting under that baseball. Oh my goodness, yes, full baseball below, 2 baseballs,
and they've got both their challenges. So that is the 2nd out, and now here's Chandler Simpson. Bloop single, bunt single, infield hit. 3 for 3. Patrick Corbin is now getting up. Ground ball to second, and the flip from Clement to Jimenez to force the runner onto the bottom of the 6th here at Rogers Center. Up to become a Rogers customer and be a part of Canada's winning inning. When the Blue Jays get a hit this inning, you could win exclusive 50th season prizes. Visit Rogers.com today. All Tampa Bay again here tonight, up 8-0 going to the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Ernie Clement, George Springer, Dalton Varsho. With what's gone on so far tonight, Joe, and going back a few days, the Blue Jays have now scored a total of 2 runs in their last 35 innings.
I feel like I remember a stretch like this not long ago.
Their last extra base hit was on Saturday, a Varsho double in the 6th inning against the White Sox. Down and away, 1-2. Clement 1 for 2 tonight.
He's just burying those cutters down and away to the righties, using the four-seamer and the sinker at the top of the zone. In and out. He is again. So getting you looking down there like that a couple of times. I'm going to guess a fastball now somewhere that's across the top of the zone, or that sinker in. You have to try to think along with a guy like this to get to him. There's the heater.
Shallow right. And it drops. 3 Rays surrounded it, but none could get to it.
You can almost predict the pattern of the pitches after those 2 breakers, but Ernie gets jammed a little bit, pops it up, but he couldn't put it in a better spot, just dropping among 3 Rays defenders. Ernie gets hits.
Here's Springer now, 1 for 2. About as big a hole on the right side of the infield as you will ever see, with Clement being held on second baseman Williamson almost directly behind the bag out at second. On the ground, obviously George pulls the ball much more than it goes to the opposite field.
George handles that ball middle in much better too. Good swing there. George gets a lot of lean back. He tilts back. And in doing that, that really gets that barrel into the zone early. Sometimes he's had that catcher's interference called, and that's part of the reason why the barrel drops back quickly. It's in the zone early and stays through it better.
He's not trying to get catcher's interference calls. It's just the way his swing works.
The way his swing works. And there are times, I'm sure, like the 2 extremes, he can be going too forward, but he can also get stuck back. That's what happens with hitters. You're trying to find that happy medium.
2-2. And a well-hit ball up the alley in left center field will be off the wall on the fly. Clement's going to be held. Into second goes Springer with a double.
Sinker up and out over the plate. And there's that lean back that creates space out front. And George gets not only the barrel on it, but he gets it in the air. George has been having some very good at-bats.
That's one of the hardest hit balls he's had all season. 108.6 on that double, so that's their first extra base hit since Saturday. Second and third, nobody out. Kyle Snyder, pitching coach, out to the mound. Bullpen has gotten up now for the Rays. Bull Sulser, right-hander, is up. And it's Dalton Varsho, who popped up in the first and lined out in the fourth. Swinging a foul back, 0-1. Fouled off. 0-2. Bounced in and blocked nicely by Fortes.
Well, you see the two fastballs up in the zone to Dalton, and then now you go down in the dirt, and I got to believe you're just going to keep on climbing up some more. That to me is just a show pitch right there. You may get a chase, but if not, it's just setting up what you want to do next.
And he got that two-seamer up there, but Varsho got a piece of it.
And that was the sinker. I thought maybe he would use the four-seamer to really stick it up even higher than that above the zone. Maybe he'll come back with that. Dalton's going to have to do what he can to try to get on top of this thing if he goes up there.
Chops it foul. That fastball kind of wound up right in on him, and at the last second, Varsho said, I better just get rid of this one.
That is battling right there. Taking that one out of the catcher's mitt. And he's probably thinking, I've got to be ready for all of these different, whether it's the cutter down or that fastball.
Fouled it back, heads up. Almost in the booth next to us where the Rays announcers are. Joe checking on them. Everybody okay over there?
You guys good? Right at Les, our camera operator.
Then back to the cutter, down and in. Clement at third, Springer at second. The Blue Jays trying to break the ice here in the bottom of the sixth. And a ground ball stays fair. That'll get a run home, and Varsho's going to beat it out. Rasmussen did not get over in time. Everybody is safe, and it's 8-1. Give Varsho a base hit and an RBI.
Well, that's all you can keep doing. Keep battling, keep having good ABs. Dalton battles that entire AB, gets a changeup, he's out front. But as he bounces that softly to first, he knows with Aranda playing so deep, he's just got to beat the pitcher to the bag, and he beat them both there.
And that's going to be all for Rasmussen as Kevin Cash has come to the mound to take the ball from his starter. He will go to his bullpen with Cole Sulser now making his way in. Bottom of the sixth inning, the Blue Jays have their first run of the night. They still trail 8-1, but they've got runners at first and third, nobody out. And Kevin Cash has gone to his pen for righty Cole Sulser.
Sulser just one earned run in his last 6 games, covering 5 2/3. Opponents just 3 for 21 against him. And righties, as you noted, a lot more success against Sulser.
Wild numbers. Look at that. Lefties hitting 188. Righties hitting 389. You saw a changeup there on the first pitch to Okamoto. That is a big weapon for Sulser. Ground ball pulled down to third, to second one, to first in time. The run will score. Double play ball, no RBI for Okamoto. It's 8-2.
Well, just a little wrinkle out over the plate, and Okamoto is out front. Rolls that over to third, and very efficient from Caminero to Williamson to Aranda.
So 2 down and the base is empty with 2 runs in, and here's Brandon Valenzuela checking on home plate umpire Chris Conroy after that foul off.
That's part of the reason why he's so tough on lefties.
If you ever see a guy with reverse splits, almost automatic that he's either got a changeup or a splitter.
Changeup, splitter. Sometimes it's a cutter, but that changeup is very good. But it helps his four-seam fastball. That would be very effective.
Good contact, but right at Mullins to end the inning. The Blue Jays get 2 and now trail 8-2 at the end of 6.
Take a trip from Care Lot to Rogers Center for Care Bear Specialty Ticket Day on Saturday, August 15th. The specialty ticket purchasers will receive a Blue Jays plush Care Bear. Bring a little extra cheer to game day and show your Blue Jays some love. Buy your specialty ticket today at bluejays.com/promotions.
Thank you, Maria. Another huge crowd here tonight. 42,881. The fans deserve an A+ this season. Absolutely. They have been outstanding in numbers. Obviously, they're very frustrated with where the team is, but they keep coming out to the ballpark. We hope that continues.
And we continue to hear it from other teams that we talk to, other broadcasters, that you guys just keep filling the place. Kevin Cash talked about it the other day when he arrived. On a Monday, on a Tuesday.
Patrick Corbin into the game, the 4th pitcher of the night, with Ben Williamson the batter. And the first thing I think about when Corbin comes in is generally they have kind of held him back for the Spencer Miles day because Miles is not fully stretched out, not a guy who can give him 6 innings right now, and this already feels like it's going to require a roster move for tomorrow just to get another fresh arm up with both Estrada and now Corbin pitching in tonight's game.
Estrada making 41 pitches in relief tonight.
And got him to chase. Williamson goes after a ball in the dirt, 1 down.
Corbin made 15 starts for the Blue Jays this season. The ERA over 5, and he is now finding himself in the bullpen trying to clean up some innings.
It's sharply up the middle, backhanded by Clement, and the throw in time to get Walls 2 down.
14 seasons for the left-hander. 4 different teams. Started out with Arizona, won a World Series in Washington.
Alongside Max Scherzer.
Yes.
Who will start for Buffalo tomorrow, by the way. An afternoon game for the Bisons. Scherzer trying to make his way back. Jimmy Garcia trying to make his way back. Jesus Sanchez getting closer to going out on rehab. Now challenge for Fortes.
Pitch is called a strike. The batter's challenging.
And it is indeed down. It's a ball.
Pitch is the ball. Tampa Bay has 2 left.
Still 2 left for the Rays. The Blue Jays have 1 remaining. The 1-1. Ground ball to third, and Okamoto can't handle it. He knew he had a difficult hop. He kind of backed up on it a little bit and could not come up with it.
Tricky spot to be at third base, navigating that hop. You see he comes in, but then he tries to back up to give himself a good hop, but he got a little tangled up there, and that ball just really ate him up.
And he will be charged with an error on the play. So Joe, that is 2 consecutive games now where the Blue Jays have been charged with 3 errors. So that brings Yandy Diaz to the plate. And he'll lift one to right center. Varsho's there in plenty of time, and that's the 3rd out. 7th inning stretch here at Rogers Center.
Springer tonight. We'll show them to you here. Springer's quietly hitting .308 over his last 10 games. You know, it's been a while since we've seen some slug from the Blue Jays. They went 25 innings between extra base hits from Dalton Varsho's double against the White Sox on Saturday to that double off the wall here tonight. And look at this. Springer's been doing everything he can to provide that thump, swinging with as much intent as we've ever seen from him. Look at how high the bat speed is this month. It's the highest since StatCast began bat tracking that Springer has had in a single month. His fast swing rate is also way up. Now, a fast swing is quantified as 75 miles per hour or higher. The 2 hits for Springer tonight were on swings of 79 miles per hour. Springer's fast swing rate this month isn't only substantially higher than it was earlier this season, it's within the top 35 hitters in baseball.
Gardner, thank you. And the results, as you say, have come around in recent days. A topic for another night. We talked about Kevin Gausman and the trade deadline, and again, Springer. His contract is up. This is the 6th and final year of George Springer's contract. As I mentioned very briefly, I think because the inning was coming to an end, George is what's known as a 10-5 guy. 10 years in the majors and the last 5 with his current team. That affords a player full no-trade protection. So the Blue Jays can't trade Springer unless he approved the deal. And again, we're maybe several days away from delving into this topic a little bit more, but it sure feels like change is coming.
Well, and despite Georgia's struggles this season, if he heats up, as Arden was just alluding to right now, with the bat speed and what we're seeing, that could be a bat that maybe a team can add, even if it's to your bench for a contender.
Yep. Deadline is Monday, August 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern. Jimenez retired on a fly ball, and here's Miles Straw, 1 for 2. Another guy who's a pending free agent. I believe the Blue Jays have a club option on Straw for next year. So whatever, if they were to trade him, that team would inherit the option. But a contending team can always use a guy who can do a bunch of different things: pinch run, play defense, platoon, and as we have come to know over the last 2 years, a great guy in the clubhouse, a very well-liked teammate.
Yeah, I could see a Miles Straw on a contender. Absolutely. Filling those roles that you just described. You'd love to have that on a playoff roster.
Sulser out in front 0-2 as the sweeper misses outside. Second inning for Sulser after Rasmussen went 5+ innings, charged with a couple of earned runs. One a hopper to second. 2 down.
Stream every pitch on Canada's best and most reliable 5G Plus network. Visit Rogers.com today to get connected.
So Sulser has now gotten 5 outs, facing only 4 batters. Got a double play ball off the bat of Kazuo Komodo, the first guy he faced last inning. And here's Nathan Lucas, who's 1 for 3.
Well, it's an 8-2 ball game, but watch what Miles Straw does on this ground ball. I want to say it's routine, but he is just going hard out of the box. And this is the time of year, after the conversation we just had, guess who's watching?
Right. Other
playoff
GMs.
contenders.
Yep.
You know who's watching? The team across the way. And you just never know. And if I'm Miles Straw, keep playing the game that way, because if things don't go well here, there could be teams interested.
Miss away, 3-1. fly ball to left center, playable for Mullins to end the inning. 8-2 Rays at the end of 7, and time now for a Blue Jays Central update with Jamie and Caleb. A 2025 postseason rematch is on Sportsnet 1 tomorrow. Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers, Kyle Schwarber and the Phillies tune in at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Hello there. 8-2 Rays, top of the 8th. Patrick Corbin back on the mound to begin his second inning of work, and he gets Jonathan Aranda to chase. Aranda 1 for 4, had an infield hit back in the second. Just off the corner with that one. Tomorrow night, the third game of the series, Spencer Miles will be involved for the Blue Jays. Whether he starts or has somebody in front of him yet to be announced. Griffin Jacks will be on the mound for the Rays, and then it'll be a day game on Thursday. A 3:07 first pitch. Shane Bieber for the Blue Jays and lefty Ian Seymour for the Rays. Got a piece of it. Craig Kimbrell may be on his way to pitching for all 30 teams before he retires.
As a catcher, you always want to block the baseball or protect that guy behind you. See Valenzuela's reaction right away here as it goes up off his mask, making sure Chris Conroy's okay. That's not how you get bonus points.
Aranda chases.
Is he saying he foul tipped it?
He is saying he did, but I don't think Chris Conroy agrees. He certainly hasn't given any indication.
He's waiting to call him out.
There it is. He just punched him out. So Corbin gets him.
It's going to be a tough call for a home plate umpire. You're probably just going off a little bit of sound.
Nope.
No, he didn't.
You know, and it's one of those things you can still plead your case because you can't review that.
Right.
So if he could convince the umpire that he fouled it off, the only thing the home plate umpire could do was ask the other umpires, did you see anything? But
it's another one of those things that I have a little beef with. I mean, the whole point of replay again is to get the call right.
Yep.
And if it's egregious like that replay we just saw, it would get overturned, and I think that would be the right play. And I know part of the reason why you can't review everything is because they don't want the game stopping so many times.
But you still only get one challenge game, so why
challenge is a challenge, right?
No, I agree. Junior Caminero has an infield hit and he's walked 3 times.
When he gets into that leg kick, he is just sitting on that backside, really torquing into that back hip. It's a bit of a scary looking feeling if you're a pitcher, right there.
And what does that lead to? Just a great weight transfer?
Yeah, I think the big thing is that when you're coiling in that back hip, that's where he's creating that tension, as opposed to hitters. The leg will come up and it's immediately going forward. And if it's immediately going forward, you're coming off of that strength, off that backside.
Fights it off to right, and that's a base hit. So Caminero's now been on base 5 times.
So he gets jammed a little bit on this fastball up in the zone, but there's that coil where it's just head right there. And then when he controls that front side, what I was talking about earlier is when that stride foot goes down out front, it's almost pulling back as the backside goes forward. And that's that. It's almost like that crunch and that tension. That's what allows the barrel to get in the zone early and stay through the zone a lot better. And that guy standing right next to Caminero right there, that's what he's had all kinds of troubles with this season.
So when Guerrero is right, does he look more like Caminero does now?
I think more like that. There's still different swings, but we saw Vladdy a few years ago when he was probably at his best, and I think that's where he's got to find that stroke again on a more consistent basis.
Cedric Mullins is 1 for 4. Lefty-lefty matchup. That's in there, 1-2.
Challenge, yeah. I don't think his microphone was working.
And it will remain a strike. And we have lost Chris Conroy's microphone. So the Rays are down to 1. And a swing and a miss to get him for out number 2. These are not glamorous innings for Patrick Corbin, but again, he understands the assignment, just trying to get as many outs as he can.
That's a good slider here, left on left. Looks like a strike a lot of the way, and Mullins chases.
Two down, and that's 3 strikeouts now for Corbin through an inning and 2/3, and he starts Johnny DeLuca with a strike. Good night for DeLuca. 2 hits, 3 runs driven in. Short lead at first by Caminero. And the 1-1 is tapped over the head of Corbin, charging Clement. The flip in time to get him. No runs, a base hit, and a man left on to the bottom of the 8th.
With our fans across the country, we're more than meets the eye. Roll out to Rogers Center on Saturday, August 1st as the Blue Jays celebrate Transformers Day. Be one of the first 15,000 fans through the gates to receive your very own Blue Jays Transformers hat featuring interchangeable front patches that showcase different characters. The fun doesn't end there. Fans are invited to stick around after the final out for a special post-game screening of the Transformers, the movie from 1986 to celebrate its 40th anniversary. Get your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions.
Thank you, Maria. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will lead off the bottom of the 8th, and Craig Kimbrell is into the game for the Rays, the 38-year-old who is in his 17th year in the big leagues. No longer a closer, obviously, but worth mentioning, he has 440 career saves. That is 5th all time. The 98s are more like 94s and 95s now. Just outside, 2-0.
Yeah, that high velocity fastball not there anymore, but he's still got different weapons that he can utilize. Started the season with the Mets before being DFA'd and signed with the Rays.
Not close, and it's ball 3. He's been with 11 different teams, 9 of them in the last 6 years. A strike, 3-1 on Guerrero with Clement and Springer to follow. Way up in the air, back of second. And it'll be Walls, the shortstop, for the first out. A few days ago, back prior to the All-Star break, San Francisco, San Diego saw a couple of home runs, even in the White Sox series, some good signs, but now 3 consecutive 0 for 4s for Guerrero. And here's Clement, who is 2 for 3. He just keeps finding a way. He's 5 for his last 10, and he has raised his average now over 300. It's unconventional, but
yeah,
it's working.
It's very unconventional, and you wouldn't teach it, but it works for Ernie. And I remember having a conversation with him way earlier this year, and it was after the postseason success, and he said to me in the past he tried a lot of different things. We talked about being released a couple times, and he was trying different things, and he finally came to something that he think works best for him, so he stuck with it.
Fly ball down the left field line. Hit pretty well, but just foul and into the seat shy of the pole.
And you can be a hitter that tries to stay inside the ball a little bit better, use the whole field a little bit more. You can do a lot of different things, but things just didn't work for him. And this is the style that has worked best for him. It's a very aggressive approach. We see him swing at pitches all over the place.
Well, and he says the Blue Jays right away allowed him to be himself,
yeah,
whereas the A's and Cleveland did not. And he's forever grateful for that.
And that doesn't sound like much, but when he told me, I've had at-bats with other organizations where I swing at a first pitch slider on the outside edge and pop up, and you kind of get disciplined for it or yelled at for it, like, as in that's a terrible at-bat, you got to be better. Blue Jays have let him be Ernie. That's who he is. That's he feels is the best version of himself, and clearly he's onto something.
In the air to center for Mullins. Out number 2. So Clement now 2 for 4, and here comes George Springer, having his second consecutive good night in this series. He went 2 for 3 with a walk last night, and he's 2 for 3, including a double here tonight. These are two guys who have seen a thing or two. They've been around a while, these two. Kimbrel 38, Springer 36. Fly ball to right. Drifting back and making the catch, DeLuca. And we're through 8 here at Rogers Center. The Rays still lead by 6.
For the second night in a row when the Blue Jays have had to play some of their best baseball to get rolling, they have not done that at all. Some errors and misplays all around. 3 errors last night. Tonight we're seeing it again against a team in the Tampa Bay Rays that has come in here and just applied all kinds of pressure on the Blue Jays defense, and they have not been up for that call. Okamoto with another misplay here, getting all tied up at third base, and this is for a team that really its mark has been a defense over the last number of years. That was their calling card, and it just has not been that way this season, and it's really come to light here in the last couple of days, and we're seeing the difference here between a first place team and a last place team right in front of our eyes.
And the Rays have taken advantage. A bunch of their runs maybe not have necessarily scored right because of the error, but indirectly or an at-bat or two later. Little chopper hit by Simpson. Not a thing you can do with it. Unbelievable. He's got 4 hits tonight.
Talk about unique players.
Wow. And like Guerrero, and he's right. He never even, made a move like there was going to be a play. I mean, there's just no chance.
As soon as the first baseman has to field that baseball, the play's over.
His second career 4-hit game. And he hasn't hit one of them hard.
No.
Not even close.
Utilizing his skill set, that's for certain. And you can see why that he probably goes through stretches where he is hitting balls right at people, and he's not getting his hits. We saw him early in the season hitting over 300. That came down. But now he's building back up.
And now a base hit for Williamson. And Simpson is around second and easily gliding into third. And for Williamson, that's a 4-hit game for him. So the Rays threatening here in the top of the 9. Lots of smiles for them the way things have gone. They've got 17 hits now in this game.
You've talked earlier about the Rays and trades and how they acquire people. Ben Williamson was acquired from Seattle in a deal. Just in his 2nd year, but just another one of those nice pieces of the puzzle.
Just a scoring change. It doesn't impact anything other than that. But since we just talked about the defense, for those interested, the play that Okamoto could not make, the Fortes play in the 7th, has now been changed from an error to a base hit.
Wow.
So the Blue Jays now officially with 2 errors on
What
that.
possesses someone to change that to a hit? That's the question. Especially after. I mean, I thought the ball that Ernie dropped earlier should have been an error too, but as we know across baseball now, there are a lot of hits being granted.
Scoring has changed in recent years. 3-1 the count on Walls. And a ground ball to third. The tag. Yes, they do get him. Okamoto got the glove on Simpson to get him at third.
Quick reaction that time from Okamoto and a very athletic play, fielding that baseball and being able to reach Simpson with the tag. He's right there by the bag. Simpson trying to get out of the way, but he's able to get a piece of him.
Definitely got him. So it's a fielder's choice for Walls. First and second, one out. Here's Fortes. In there, 0-1. Fortes with a 3-run home run tonight and a solo home run last night. And that's ripped into left field, a base hit. This will cash in a run, a long RBI single for Fortes to bring home Williamson to make it 9-2.
This is a shot right off the bat at the bottom of the zone. Fortes was thinking double here, but he had to hold up because Walls held at second. The run scoring easily.
That's their 18th hit of the game, and that matches a season high for the Rays. And it'll bring up Yandy Diaz for the 6th time. Low ball 2. So John Schneider obviously wants to stay with Corbin here and not have to use any of the higher leverage guys. Little and Fisher both pitched last night, so we'd rather not use them, and then that leaves Hoffman, Rogers, and Varland, your top 3 leverage guys. Fluharty and Estrada have already pitched, so unless things really go sideways here, it's going to be Corbin to finish off the top of the 9th. In there, 3-1 on Diaz. Fly ball to center. It's deep. Varsho back. It's gone. And Varsho might be shaken up. That knee might have gone hard into the wall. It's a 3-run home run for Yandy Diaz. here in his 1,000th career game, and you can hear some booing here at Rogers Center right now as the Rays add on 3 more.
Looked like a cutter inside, but did he ever turn on it? But Dalton just running out of room. It looked like he crashed into this wall pretty hard, maybe initially thinking he had a play to maybe jump up and climb the wall, but I think he just ran out of room and his right knee went right into that padding. Now, padding's only so thick. He's feeling it.
Yeah, reaching for that right knee. Couple of strikes now on Jonathan Aranda. Poke to left, a base hit for Aranda. This is in the now moments ago in the Tampa Bay dugout again. This is career game number 1,000 for Yandy Diaz. That may have something to do with the silent treatment. When you're having fun, you do this kind of thing. There you go.
You go to them.
Miles Straw is coming into pitch, or maybe no, who's coming out? It's Luis Urias. So that's going to be all for Corbin. John Schneider to the mound, and Luis Urias.
Well, he pointed to Straw.
Oh, you're right. So Straw's going to pitch. Ernie Clement's going to go to left. They just traded gloves.
Yeah.
And really, it's 12-2. Miles Straw and Ernie Clement just traded gloves. Ernie's going to the outfield. Urias to second, and Miles Straw will be on the mound when we come back. So here's Miles Straw pitching with the Blue Jays now down by 10 here in the top of the 9th. Urias at second, Clements in left. This is something Straw's done before, and if you got to do it, he does it about as well as it can be done. He just kind of lobs it in there, and he gets it in the zone or close enough that he gets swings often enough to hopefully get through this as quickly as he can. And those who are still here are trying to find some fun in what's going on right now. Camanero's laughing. And a huge swing and a ground ball to third. Not as easy as it looks when it's coming in at 37. 2 down.
Well, you talk about slow pitch softball. Caminero just can't wait long enough.
He's pretty good at 97. 37's a problem. As that one sent down the line foul by Cedric Mullins.
And it's too bad you can't see the joy in these fans and the tarp off and all those things for a different reason. Unfortunately, there has not been a lot to cheer for lately.
That was a curveball that Myers threw right there. Pounded off 2-2. You know what? They haven't had a lot of fun recently. If they want to have fun now, let them have fun, right?
They're here.
Yeah. popped up. Valenzuela cannot make the play. Am I imagining it, or was Straw like getting out of the way before the ball was even hit?
I think he's getting
ready to make a play.
Play defense, right?
I mean, he was moving before the ball's hit.
He's thinking of catching that pop-up.
If any of the infielders call him off to catch a pop-up, they're going to hear about it. Look at him again. Lined into center, a base hit. And the Rays going station to station. Aranda's going to stop at third.
He's trying to flip it in there and be a fifth infielder. Where he thinks they're going to hit it. It looked like the reaction of a regular pitcher.
Yep. Now Johnny DeLuca. If you're wondering, you cannot challenge a pitch thrown by a position player. There's a ground ball. And that's that. A round of applause for Miles Straw. Bottom of the ninth inning, and the Rays on their way to a second straight lopsided win over the Blue Jays. It is 12-2 going to the bottom of the ninth. Dalton Varsho, Kazuma Okamoto, and Brandon Valenzuela due up.
Ken Reed with that Pascal Perez. Absolutely. That's turning back the clock a little bit. That's even before my time, Ken.
Cam Boozer, or excuse me, Garrett Clevenger, lefty on the mound for the Rays. I guess Varsho's okay because he is hitting. Remember, banging that knee into the wall out in center. I thought somehow, some way that maybe Sean Keys gets an at bat here, just to get him an at bat here in the bottom of the ninth. But find out maybe after the game how Varsho's feeling. Kazuma Okamoto is 0 for 3. Sends it foul out of play.
Clevenger had a much better month of July after a slow start. Nice catch made down the left field line. That'll be key for him. We saw Cam Boozer last night to have a pair of lefties down there.
If you are tracking the standings, the Red Sox are in the third wild card spot right now in the American League, and they were postponed tonight in Boston. They're supposed to take on the Orioles, so this loss will drop the Blue Jays 6 games back. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, 3-2.
Well, what a game this has turned into. I mean, the game of baseball. 3-1 breaking ball, 12-2 in the ninth. Right. That just didn't happen in my day. But
people would have fallen over in the dugout.
Oh my goodness!
And another one.
There is truly no fastball count anymore in this game, and that's why hitting has become more and more difficult. That breaking ball from Clevenger coming into a right-handed batter. Looked like Okamoto maybe fouled that off of his foot, but when it's coming into you and you catch the top of the baseball, it's a direct shot. Much like righties into lefties.
Pulls another one foul.
It's hard not to with those sliders coming into you, but you can see how he's just getting around those baseballs. Let's try to get inside it a little bit more, or through the ball, up the middle.
And swings and misses, 2 down. We are back with you tomorrow night for the next game of this series. Again, Spencer Miles will figure prominently. We don't know if he will start or if there will be an opener in front of him. Griffin Jacks for the Rays. The broadcast begins at 6:30 Eastern Time. First pitch 7:07. 2 down in the 9th inning for Brandon Valenzuela. Turns around to bat right-handed. Might have gotten Fortes on a backswing there. Checks with him. 2 runs on 7 hits for the Blue Jays tonight. Both runs coming in the 6th. The Rays got 3 in the first, added on in the middle innings, and then put 4 more on the scoreboard in the 9th. They've got 21 hits tonight, and kind of a combination of soft stuff here and there, but also a couple of big 3-run homers and a lot of line drives as well.
Lots of balls in play, and that's where even Gausman early on just didn't have a whole lot of swing and miss today.
Outside, 3-1.
Jeez, that's a hot shot right over by that camera well.
Everybody okay? I hope.
There's another one of those sliders. Clevenger throws a lot of those sliders from the left side into righties, and you can see how it's hard to keep that thing fair.
Wow.
Oof.
Keep your eye on the ball. Out to second, a nice stop by Williamson to end the ball game. For the second night in a row, the Rays dominate the Blue Jays. Beat them 7-1 last night, Joe, and 12-2 here tonight.
Much like the same thing we saw last night, happened a little differently, but this is tough times for the Blue Jays and their fans here in the Rogers Center tonight.
They'll try again tomorrow night in the 3rd game of 4 between the Rays and the Blue Jays. We will have it for you beginning at 6:30 Eastern Time. The final tonight, the Rays 12 and the Blue Jays 2. Time now for Sportsnet Central, presented by KFC with Ken and Jesse.